Hello, hello, guys. Welcome to Live with Jacqueline Valdez. I'm super excited to be here. So today we are going to be talking about, in the middle of it all, reinvent yourself. And we have a fabulous guest, Miss Jamie Brown. Welcome to the show. Hello.
Thank you, Jacqueline.
Yes, I'm super
Hi.
excited to have you here today.
I'm so excited to be here. I'm just coming off of this book tour, so I'm super excited to talk about all the amazing things that's happened over the last 6 weeks.
Yes, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. So you have a fabulous book out. So I'm really excited to talk about it. Yes, in the middle of it all. So, and you are been so busy with your tour even. And Leslie, shout out to Upscale for setting this up and introducing us. I am super excited to hear about this book tour and about your book.
Yes. This has been, I actually wrote this book as a journal initially of what I was going through, because I was going through so much at the time that I wanted to kind of write it down and just chronicle myself and how God was bringing me out of certain things.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I was like, this should be a book. Like, I'm going to make this a book. And all of the pages that I had, I started writing in October of 2019. And while recovering from COVID, I actually finished the book and published it myself. And with my stimulus and my whatever else, the income tax, I sent myself out on a book tour.
Wow, that is so exciting. How did you go from having such struggles and having such a difficult time to creating, this whole different future, this whole different outcome? You have a book now, you published it, you went on tour. This is really cool. It's very exciting to come out of something stronger.
Absolutely. I feel like the reason why I was going through all the things I was going through was because I needed to prepare myself for times like this. I literally 6 months ago was living in a homeless shelter with everything that I had fit in a trash bag underneath my bed. And when you're in that situation, you don't feel like anything's going to get better, but you have to keep that hope that gives you the joy that you need to know that a better day is coming. If I woke up this morning, that means God still loves me and a better day is coming. And I just kept that at the forefront of my mind. And while I was at the shelter, I started doing IG lives. And I would meet and greet different celebrities when they would go live, and I would get on there and just showcase my personality, talk to them like I knew them my whole life.
I love it.
And they loved it. And I gained like a friendship and a loyal following because of it. And a lot of the people that I met virtually, I was able to meet and spend time with across this book tour. So it's been phenomenal.
Wow, that's so surreal. I mean, it goes to show, when you reach out to other people and you are just very loving and giving and wanting to connect with others, the universe will help it happen. And, people are really needing that right now, especially with everything going on with COVID and quarantine. And, a lot of people are still on lockdown.
Right. And I feel like the lockdown not only affected us monetarily and things like that, but it affected us spiritually and emotionally. And I feel like even after this pandemic is over, people are still going to be locked down in their mind.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be free from that. I didn't want this pandemic to affect me emotionally and spiritually in such a way that I would be afraid to step back out again and do something different. So this book tour was kind of like my way of saying, listen, pandemic, you didn't get me down, and now I'm out here in these streets. For real, for real.
I love it. Yes. 100%. Yes. I feel like I'm so grateful. I know with all the stuff that happened with COVID too and quarantine, and a lot of people have been affected negatively, there's been some really good positive stuff. And, social media is definitely one of them. And people that are really pushing through and like, okay, we're not going to be held down, COVID. Like, sorry, we're coming out fighting.
Right. And I feel like that was just another indication that gave people time to sit down and sit with themselves. Excuse me. What it did for me was give me an opportunity to look at myself and say, okay, this isn't working. This happened and that happened. Now what do I do? I can sit here and let this beat me down, or I can figure out a way to make this work for me.
Yeah.
And that's what I did in the whole reinventing myself in the middle of it all. I did exactly that. I said I started doing these IG live shows and became like a media personality overnight. I, wrote my book, and all of a sudden I was like, hey guys, I got a book coming out. You want to buy it? And I mean, people were like, oh my God, I didn't even know you were writing a book. Exactly. That's the whole point.
I love it.
But I wanted to give people the opportunity to say, hey, if she could do it while fighting a felony case, living in a homeless shelter, that losing everything that she had, why can't I? What's my excuse? So
Yeah.
I wanted to be the reason why people no longer had excuses.
I love it. Yeah, no more excuses. How did you stay so positive during the whole time, though, and not let it affect you and get you down and discouraged?
It was a lot of prayer, a lot of meditation, and a lot of music, actually. Like music, I kept headphones in my ears and I kept music streaming through, and that was my saving grace. And I had to keep reminding myself that this is only temporary, because if God promised me all of these things, it has to happen eventually.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to let my current circumstances blind me from the fact of there's greatness ahead of me, because there was greatness behind me. So I know that wasn't all that God was going to give me.
Right.
And I just had to really solidify my relationship with my creator. And everybody doesn't believe the same things, and that's okay. But you have to connect with something. You have to know that there's something up there bigger than you that's watching, because if not, it becomes a very lonely, discouraging thought.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. Wow, it's such an amazing story, and you're such a huge inspiration. I was so excited when I was finding out that we were doing this interview. I was like, "Oh, I love it. She inspires me so much." And it's like you can do it. If and anyone can push through the struggles, and anyone can find that strength and that faith if they just really focus on it and really just stay positive and believe in that higher power for sure, and believe in yourself.
Right. And that's what it is. Believing yourself and trusting that you have what it takes on the inside to be better.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of times people are looking for something externally to validate them.
Yeah.
And I had to say, well, I'm pretty amazing all by myself. So I don't need any external. I didn't need the likes. I didn't need the follows to tell me who I was and what I was capable of. And that's what I think people miss. They think that the validation comes from the outside, and it really needs to come from within. So it wasn't until I realized I was amazing and I was walking in my purpose and I was given this gift to inspire people, when I decided I was going to walk in this and I was going to do it no matter who liked it, who thought it was okay. I was going to keep doing it. And here I am in the middle of it all, reinventing myself.
I love it so much. So what words of advice would you give someone who is wanting to publish a book, who, doesn't even know where to start? How do they go about it?
Honestly, I found this company called Lulu.com. What was so funny is my oldest son, published his first book at 16, and that company was still in business. So I was like, it was an effortless project for him. So I was like, if my 16-year-old son could do it, I know I could do it. So I looked them up, and basically I already had everything written out in Google Docs. My whole book was in Google Docs, and I turned it into a PDF, uploaded it into the Lulu.com website, and started creating my book. Uploaded a photo that was my book cover and started copywriting everything. And Lulu does everything for you. They don't ask you for a dime up front. Everything that I pay them is after I sell books, and whatever I sell through Amazon or from Lulu.com specifically is what then ends up paying them back for what they're doing for me. And it was a blessing, because I had no idea. I've never wrote a book. I've never dealt with anything like that. And even having people say, well, you don't have enough content, a publishing company's not going to pick you up. And I was like, that's okay. I'm going to publish myself. And that's exactly what I did.
Wow, I love it. That's so cool. I love the fact that you were like, okay, just watch me. I got this.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's true. I think putting everything down and all the struggles and triumphs that you've been through and documenting it, and like you said, journaling it was probably very self-healing also.
Absolutely. It was so freeing for me. And when I was going through my life, I didn't even realize how certain things that I went through really still impacted me. Like I was going through a section in the book where I talk about my mother's domestic violence, and
Mhm.
I was that 9-year old again that was watching her mother get beaten. And I went through that, the emotions of that and thinking about that. And as I was typing it, I was crying and I was feeling afraid the same way I felt that moment all those years ago. And so even if people don't want to write a book per se, I think it's so healing to write out what bothers you, to write out parts of your life that you might have buried and hidden and just kind of pushed on, because people think that being strong is just keep moving even if you're in pain. That's really not strength, because you're not addressing it. So
Yeah.
basically you're just covering up and hoping that it heals on its own, and nothing that's covered up ever heals.
Yeah.
So I want to implore everyone that even decides that they want to do anything in their life, I feel like healing is the most important part of living the best life that you could live, is being healed.
Yes, that's so true. This conversation was so meant to happen. Yesterday, last evening, I just talked to an old friend from years ago, and he was saying, because I'm having a hard time sleeping, and he was like, you need to work things out. You need to write it down. That would be very healing. And then now we're having this conversation, and now it's like the universe sent you to me. It was meant to
Pretty
be.
much, that's what happened. I get sent to people. And I
I
actually,
love it.
I started a workshop that I'll be doing on May the 29th. It's all virtual. It's all on Eventbrite.
Uh-huh.
But I created little journals for everybody that attends the workshops, because I wanted them to be able to write things down. And I also wanted to create a space that's healing, because and safe, because a lot of times people don't want to talk about what they've been through because they're afraid somebody's going to use it against them.
Right.
They're going to talk about them. They're going to make them feel bad for what they've been through. And I had to be the martyr of that. Like, I'll talk about my life. I'll talk about what I've been through, my married boyfriends, my lesbian lovers, child. I'll talk about it all,
I love it.
because that's the only way I'm going to heal.
Yeah.
That's the only way I'm going to let somebody else know. It doesn't matter where you start. It doesn't even matter where you are. It's where you're going and what work you do along the journey to get you to where you need to be. Because there's so much God wants to give us
Yeah.
that he can't give to us until we are fully cleared up to accept it. Because when we are holding on to old things, baggage, old, relationships, all of those things, we don't have space for the blessing.
That's so true. That's so
And he's
true.
like, I have all this stuff for you, but just like
Hello.
for us ladies, we don't, right. We don't buy new clothes with a whole closet full of clothes. We got to get rid of stuff so we can replace it with newer things. And the Bible says you can't put new wine into old wineskins. You have to move forward and clear out your life so you can bring the new in and have space for it. I couldn't find the man that I was supposed to be with if I was still holding on to the ghosts of lovers past.
Yeah.
I had to release all of that. I had to forgive people that I didn't even want to talk to anymore. I had to really dig deep. And I'm telling you, it has been the most amazing experience of my life.
Because you are glowing right now. You look super happy. You look super energized. You have this bright light about you. I love it.
It's God. Like, I'm so excited. Like, as tired as I am, I had 3 hours of sleep. I got off the plane last night and like, I didn't really go to sleep till like 3 a.m. and I was up at 6:30 working, returning emails, I'm just like, oh my God. But I knew that work doesn't stop. I'll have time to sleep, but I'm just so excited to share with people all that is happening in my life, because I've been open to receive.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. That's such a huge word of advice. And that's a gem that you just dropped, is just being ready to receive and letting go of things to let room in for, better things and happier moments and even more rich things, rewarding stuff.
Yeah. Yes. The best of God only brings his best when you're ready to receive it.
Yeah.
And I would have never, if anyone would have told me 6 months ago this would be my life, that I would be in this space and place, I would have laughed at them. I would have been like, yeah, okay, you're funny and that's a joke.
Yeah.
But literally, like I was telling Leslie, like one of my favorite hip hop artists of all times is Rakim from Eric B and Rakim.
Right.
I have been in love with him since I heard the first album, Paid in Full, in 1987.
Nice.
And I was only a kid. I was like 9. But when I was actually at his concert on Sunday, not only was I just there, but I was on stage. I got a chance to talk to him, hug him, take pictures with him, and give him a copy of my book. And when I tell you that was like a dream come true for me, that was like God saying, here, daughter, you've been so good and faithful. Let me drop you this little gift. Let me just give you this real quick. It
Oh.
was I'm still bugged out about it. Like I'm still getting pictures. My brand manager's continuing to send me pictures of the evening because I didn't even have my phone. My phone was in my pocket, in my jacket, on the chair, and I was dancing and singing, and I didn't even have my phone to even capture anything, and she captured everything for me. And
Wow.
it was the most amazing moment. But another one of those things, not being able to receive, if you're sitting around mad and angry and sad about something that's happened, those joyous moments, you can't cherish them the same.
Oh, that's so true. I love it. I am taking those words of inspiration and remembering that and thinking of you when I think of those words for sure. You'll be in my mind. I'll be like, okay, Jack,
Awesome.
do not get, stuck in any sad moments or in the past. Keep moving forward and let abundance come.
Right.
So that must have
Yes.
been like a
Yes.
full,
Because it's okay.
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It must have been like a full circle moment for you.
Oh my gosh. It was the most amazing experience of my life. I mean, I had amazing moments. Like having my kids were amazing moments, but in my adult life,
Yeah.
that was the one of the greatest moments of my life, because to be actually friendly and interacting with people that I only idolized and watched on TV or listened to on the radio, to be in the presence of someone like that is just mind blowing. And for him to be so accepting of me and my offerings that I had, like being able to tell him how much he impacted me and how much I loved his music, and just that he was one of my favorites. And I wasn't just saying that because he was in my presence. Like
Right.
I do a hip hop show on IG Live, and I talk about my top 5 all the time, and Rakim is always in there. So I'm not, that's not just something I was saying that night. Like I meant that. And
No.
it was truly a full circle moment for me. It was truly God showing me that if you just continue to, keep the faith and be obedient, because I went through some hard stuff.
Wow.
And but I never lost faith. I never lost my joy. I never allowed my circumstances to choke me out. And God is now rewarding me with that. Like dropping people into my life that I once again grew up listening to, loving, crushing on sometimes. They're now my friends. I'm like, how does this happen, Lord? Like, what?
I love it.
Girl,
It's so much fun.
it
It's
is.
well deserved. And I love that you're still so humble about it all and that you're just so down to earth and so authentic.
I mean, the moment I forget where I've come from and
Yeah.
the moment that I forget why I'm where I am is when everything that I have is going to be gone again.
Yeah.
And I remember those moments where I had everything and forgot who gave it to me, and allowed myself to squander the blessings and the opportunities that God was blessing me with. And now my prayer is always, Lord, give me the wisdom to steward everything that you put in my path properly. I don't want to miss anything ever again. I don't want to lose anything because I didn't steward it properly. And I don't want to miss any moments. I want to cherish everything. And that's how I'm living my life right now, because I know without the breath that God puts in my body every day, I would not be able to even be where I am right now. So I'm just super thankful for that alone. And everything else that happens after that is a bonus.
Yeah. No, I love it so much. So this book tour that you did, what places did you go to?
So I started my book tour in Wilmington, Delaware, because that is where I moved from, and my boys still live there. And my son was having a movie premiere with him and his friends. So I was like, I'll make it a twofer. My friend has a venue, and she let me use it for free. And that was my first book signing. To have my kids there and their friends and my friends was super exciting. My second one was in Florida, in Miami. And along the way, I got to see my spiritual parents and my friends that are out there in Florida and share books with them and share stories with them.
Wow.
And my last city was Atlanta.
Wow.
And Atlanta rolled out the red carpet for me, and that was the most amazing experience. I had a blast. I mean, I was able to do things that I would have never been able to do, just because of the people that God connected me with on Instagram.
Wow.
Like it still it bugs me out. Like I had befriended Peter Guns on Instagram. And everybody gets on him because of his, philandering ways and all of that. But I always seen something different.
Yeah.
I seen the heart behind it all, and I always treated him accordingly. And he never forgot that. And he always stayed connected with me. And he told me he was going to be in Atlanta. He was going to be at this particular event.
Wow.
He told me to come through, give me your name, I'll put you on. And I was there chilling with the hip hop, loving hip hop stars, taking pictures with everybody, living my best life, making connections. And that connection that I made that day is what led me to the concert on Sunday.
Wow. Isn't that amazing how everything works out and how everything kind of just is like a domino effect? Hello, Vibe Show Casper. Thank you for popping in. He says, most definitely on the last conversation that we were talking about. Yes. Wow. That's so exciting. So what exciting things do you have coming up for you?
So in May, actually May 10th through the 16th, I will be in Los Angeles, and I'm going to be recording my audiobook.
Very cool.
And very exciting. So shout out to my brother DJ Dummy, who is going to let me use his studio. And then I will be traveling then the 29th, I have my wholeness workshop, my first ever virtual workshop. I'll be doing on Zoom. Fun. And the tickets for that are on Eventbrite. They're $20 each, and everyone that buys a ticket gets a free journal along with it. I'm hoping I can get them there on time, because the mail is like getting on my nerves. But that's going on. And then June, my sister is trying to set up a book signing in Virginia, where my the other part of my family is. And then July, I'll be in Memphis, Tennessee for a book signing. And yeah, so far that's it. But who knows what's going to happen along the way that might change that. So
yeah, busy. So exciting. Do you think you'll have another book coming out, or are we focusing a lot on the podcast now?
So I'm actually going to do both. I want to really hone in on the podcast, because after making these amazing hip hop connections that I've made, I really want this to become a regular thing, especially in the wake of losing so many of our icons like DMX, Black Rob, Shock G. I want to really give these people their flowers while they're still here to smell them. I was honored to be able to interview Prince Marky D before he passed away, and so that means something to me, because I was able to tell him what he meant to me and the impact of his music, and give people that may not know now, this generation that may not know how these men paved the way.
Yeah,
I want to be able to do that. But yes, there's another book coming out. It is going to be the book tour memoirs. because honey, there's a lot of stuff that happened along this book tour, and it's not going to be as lengthy as this one. It's probably, it's going to be a paperback, and it's going to be a little bit shorter, but it's going to kind of give the insides of what happened during this book tour and how amazing God was in his provision, because I didn't have the money to do it. I walked away after the first book signing with $400, and that's all I had to my name. And when I tell you God showed up, he showed up for me each and every step of the way. So I want to talk about that, and I want to use that also as a catalyst of, okay, in the middle of it all, you getting yourself together, but now after the aftermath of in the middle, when you're moving toward all the good things, this is what can happen if you step out on faith. So that's going to be coming soon. And yeah, so I'm just out here, just trying to be as amazing as possible and inspire the masses. That's all.
I love it so much. As amazing as possible, but you are so amazing. We love you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
So what tips of advice would you give someone who is wanting to do interviews on Instagram and stuff, and they're wanting to get seen or noticed? How did you stand out so much?
Honestly, my son laughed at me, but I was on a live tour. So in the beginning of the pandemic, when all the celebrities were home and going live all the time, I would just hit that request button. And once I would get on there and get the opportunity to talk to them, I would treat them like I knew them my whole life. My first ever live that I was brought into was Asa from the Shahs of Sunset. And I talked to her for 10 minutes. And before that conversation was over, she was sending me free stuff, and we became best friends. And then my second was Fat Joe.
Wow.
And Fat Joe was talking to me like he knew me forever. And he said my whole name. He said my Wi-Fi was amazing. And I was just being myself. And so I just feel like if you want to do something, just do it. Like at least start it. You can't ever go wrong with just taking the step out and doing it. Because if you wait till you have all the money or all the equipment or all of the other stuff, you're never going to do it. I was doing these lives from the lobby of the homeless shelter with my phone on my computer on top of a cardboard box with 2 chairs pushed together, and my phone sitting on top of one of the books that I was reading so that I could get the height. Like, that's how I was living my life. But no one would have known that because I did my very best. I came on there, showered and hair done and perfume on, like everybody could smell me. And I wanted to just be my best self. Like that became my job.
Yeah.
So I wanted to showcase the best parts of me. And my personality already was, when you have confidence and you love yourself, it shows. And people are drawn to that. And so what I would say first is perfect who you are, be authentic, and love yourself and have confidence in yourself, to where knowing that whatever it is that you're about to do, no one can do it better than you. And that's how I felt. I felt like there might be a lot of people that do a lot of things, but they don't do them like Jamie B.
I love it.
And that's what I had to stick with. And this is what carved the pathway that has been carved for me, because I created a lane and I stuck in it, and I didn't let anybody tell me different.
I love it so much. Such great tips, such gems. Yes. So is there a website for your book?
So it's on Amazon.com. All you have to do is, when you get on Amazon, just look for In the Middle of It All. And this will pop up.
No.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. How did you come up with the cover?
So I was at the nail shop one day, actually getting ready for one of my first outings since being in the shelter. And I seen this mural on the wall, and I was like, oh my God, that is beautiful. So I asked the nail tech, I was like, can you take a picture of me in front of that? Because the dress that I was wearing matched so perfectly, and the eyes were beautiful. And I was like, wow, like for me, it was like the eyes of God watching me, and I was standing in the middle of them.
Wow.
And I showed my son the picture, and I was like, I think this is going to be the cover. He was like, Mom, I love that picture. That should be the cover. And that's where it was. And then my son wrote the back portion of the book for me. He wrote a little poem. I told him to write something for me, and he took forever. So the book was already done. And I was like, well, guess you missed out. And he was like, but I wrote it. So it was so beautiful. I had to put it on the back of the book. So if I have a couple of minutes, I wanted to read that and shout my baby out.
Yes,
Because he's
yes,
amazing.
definitely. I love it. Yes. Vibe
So he,
Show Casper said thank you, and he is ready to order the book now. Thank you
yeah,
again.
please do. Thank you. So he wrote a poem for me called
Yes.
Superwoman. And it goes, the woman who swims where there's no water, breathes where there's no air, and climbs out of wells with no ladder. With 3 hearts on her back, she knows failure's not an option. So she succeeds, moving mountains and draining seas. Jamie B, a rightful holder of the black girl magic that is a superwoman. And that's by my son, Delance,
Oh,
my oldest son.
so
And
good. Woo!
that girl, that every time I
Wow.
read it, I try to keep somebody's cutting onions every time I read it.
Yeah. Oh.
But to have my son say that about me and to watch my life, because he lived pretty much half this book with me, just to have him say that failure wasn't an option for me. It didn't matter what I went through. I seen Facebook memories are the best, but there was a status that I had put up 5, 6 years ago today that said that I was working a full-time job. I was in a relationship. I was taking care of my kids, and I was still maintaining a 98% average in my college classes.
Wow.
I was 2 semesters away from a degree, and during that time I had 5 different surgeries and still didn't quit. And I used that as an inspiration, and God reminded me, like, even then, even before you became who you are now, you never quit, you didn't give up. Even when things got hard, you still kept moving, because I've always felt like I've always been a fighter.
Yeah.
I was a fighter on the street, and I was a fighter spiritually. Like, no matter what was trying to take me down, I would always fight up against it. So for my son to write that about me, it meant the world to me. So I had to put that on the back of the book. So the first
Yes.
thing somebody seen after they turned it around was that.
Yes. Yes. He's got to be so proud of you.
He is. They were with me. All 3 of my kids were with me at my book signing in Atlanta,
Fun.
and even my daughter, who is, honey, my certified hater, honey, she always makes sure I know how fabulous I'm not. But even she was like, Mom, wow, like, you're really selling books. Like, people really love you. Like, this is really awesome. And my boys were so proud. Like, they're my security team, and they were so proud, and to see the look on their faces, just to see me in my element and see my happiness, and that I have finally came into my own.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful experience. So
Oh, I
I'm
love it.
thankful.
I'm gonna cry.
That's what I do it for. That's why I do it. To
Yeah.
see the look on their faces. It's not about money, although that's great. It's not about the my name and lights. It's to see the look on my kids' faces when I see pride in them. And if that's it. If God were to call me home today, which I don't want him to, so I want to live a little longer, Lord. But I can honestly say that I have experienced the most amazing times of my life, and my children are it.
I love it. Yes, yes, Casper, my kind of inspiration. Yes, such a huge inspiration. Is there anyone that you want to do a special shout out to?
I want to shout out my kids. I want to shout out my son on Facebook. He's Day Day. My son Zalante Oliveri. My daughter Daliana. They are the driving force to everything that I do, and I love them. I want to shout out Leslie from Upscale PR. She is my sister. She has been such a blessing to me, and I'm so thankful. And I want to shout out you for having this platform,
Thank you.
because it's beautiful to allow us to come and have these conversations, and we don't uplift each other enough. Black women, Latina women, we don't do that enough for one another. So to have these platforms and to be able to come and encourage one another means a lot. So thank you, Jacqueline, for doing
Of
this.
course, of course. Was there anything else that you wanted to tell the viewers?
I just want to tell y'all, look out for the book. Please go on Amazon, barnesandnobles.com. Anywhere there's a book sold, you can find In the Middle of It All. And if you want tickets to the Wholeness Workshop, they're available on Eventbrite. The Wholeness Workshop will be May 29th at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, and it'll be 2 hours. And it's going to be a safe place where you could just vent, heal, and reflect on moments that you need to change or things that you love. But it'll be a space for all of us, both women and men, to start healing because
It's time. Yeah, I love it so much. It sounds so exciting and so beautiful and just very healing and just coming together.
yes, we
I
need
love
that now more than ever.
Yeah, we really do. And I'll have your information posted too once the interview is up so that way they can follow you and find you as well. Yes, yes. What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for the smile that I have on my face every time I'm doing something that I love. Um, I want to be remembered as the person that didn't let no stop her from being as great as God allowed her to be. And I want people to take that with them. I want people to be inspired long after I'm gone. I want to keep inspiring people. Um,
And you're
that's it.
doing that. You're such a huge inspiration. You have just
Thank
come
you.
through so many struggles and challenges, and you are just shining and just smiling and filled with so much passion and just loving energy. I love it. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm just excited. I'm just in such an amazing place in my life, and I want to share that with the world. I want everyone to feel like I feel because it is possible. Even when you're going through, you can still be joyful because joy is from the inside. It's not circumstantial. Because when you're joyful, happiness, I feel like happiness is based on things that are happening around you. But joy is going to be in your heart, whether you're good or bad or whatever's going on, you're still going to have joy that you're alive. And that's what I want to spread, the joy.
Yes, the joy. We're alive. Enjoy each moment. I love it
Yes.
so much. Oh my gosh, you have touched my heart so much tonight. It has been such an honor and such a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is so awesome. I love the platform. I'm so glad now that I was introduced to you because I am now going to be a regular listener and watcher of everything that you're doing, ma'am.
Yay.
And so, and we definitely will I will definitely be picking your brain about how to do this situation because I'm not there yet. I'm still learning how to
Yes, you will
navigate
definitely
the
have to
social.
keep in touch.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
I'm here. Like, once people come into my life, my goal is to have them leaving better that I've been in their presence than before I got there. So
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much. It has been such an honor and such a pleasure. Thank you for illuminating the world with your presence.
thank you.
Bye. Thank you
Bye.
guys. Lots of love
Bye
and
guys.
light. Thank you. Thank you guys for tuning in. It has been such a pleasure. Thank you for watching Live with Jacqueline Valdez, illuminating the world one voice at a time. Thank you. Lots of love and light, guys.